to read you a story. And it's one of my favorites from when I was a teeny little kid. It's called, ironically, Loud Emily. And that's her there. It's by Alexis O'Neill, pictures by Nancy Carpenter. She does a really good job on all the pictures. And I'll try to show you as many of them as I can. Let's see. Here we go. Now, I'll show you all the pictures on this page before I start, just in case I forget. This is little Emily here in the window. This is her father. He's all proper and prim and tall. And this is Emily's poor mother with pillows over her ears. And you'll see why in a second. From the moment of birth, Emily's voice boomed. Goo goo ba ba, Emily sang in her Emily voice. It startled the midwife. It astonished the neighbors. It frightened the birds that were resting in trees. Emily's parents loved her truly, but oh dear, her voice could be heard round that seaside town. Perhaps she'll grow out of it, said her father, as he closed the doors and fastened the windows. We can only hope. I meant close the windows and fasten the doors. We can only hope, said her mother, as she covered her ears with embroidered pillows. Going back real quick, I'm not sure why there's an eagle up here, but okay, it's very majestic. But as Emily grew, so did her voice. It rattled the brasses, it shimmied the crystals, it shattered the plates as they crashed to the floor. Good morning, Emily said in her Emily voice. Please be soft, said her father. Good afternoon, Emily said in her Emily voice. Please do whisper, said Mother. I'm ready for lessons, Emily said in her Emily voice. You must be quiet, snapped the tutor, who threatened to quit. And there's the tutor. And look, he's got a kitty cat on his head. Look, there's Emily, and she's shouting so loud her mom falls over. Her dad doesn't seem to mind much, though. It's very hard to coordinate this book. When Emily turned 7, she heard her father fretting. How will she find her way in the world? Mother sighed. How will she find friends? The tutor hissed. How can I teach such a boisterous child? I'll try harder, Emily vowed in her Emily voice. Emily slipped back into the hallway. Her lonely footsteps echoed on the polished floor. She wandered past the grand staircase. That's the grand staircase there. And tiptoed by the in and out door. Emily tweaked it open with a crack. Oh! She heard pots and pans banging, cupboard doors slamming, errand boys yelling, "Deliveries, ho!" Emily stepped inside and tugged at the skirts of the kitchen's round cook. And there she is there. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but in this in this picture, the mom still has her embroidered pillows over her ears. May I help you? Emily asked in her Emily voice. How grand! A lass who speaks up, said the cook above the happy din. Call the servants for tea, please. Tea time! Emily called up the dumb waiter. The inside servants came running. Crumpets and scones for everyone, she called out the garden door. The cook beamed. What a fine help you are, Emily. So Emily helped in the kitchen every morning. And there she is. She's calling out in here come all the servants for tea. Look at all the crumpets. So pretty. Upstairs, her parents still worried. What about a boarding school? Her father wondered. A boarding school? Her mother asked. Yes, she must go to a boarding school, crowed the tutor, far across the sea. And may I suggest Miss Meekinster's school for soft-spoken girls? Emily tried to be happy, but a misty grayness crept inside her and would not go away. On the day before Emily was to set sail, the cook took her hand. Come, little Emily, before you go, come with me to Front Street and help me buy some nice fresh fish. And there's the grumpy old tutor, and by now the mom has a string on each side of her embroidered pillows to keep them to her head. Emily heard Front Street before she saw it. Oh, what a lovely place it was, there among the tall ships. The salty air rang with the sounds of riggers and smithies and coopers at work. Sailors trundled cargo along wooden wharves. Carriages thundered up cobblestone streets. Crowds burst from taverns with songs on their lips. I love it here, Emily said in her Emily voice. As Emily skipped along the wharf, she saw a small notice tacked to a large ship. Loud help needed, now, casting off today, Captain Baru. And there's the docks. And can you see that there? That's the little sign. Although if you read it here, it's in big, big letters. Because it's a loud sign for a loud girl. Ahoy there, called the first mate to Emily. Are you loud? I am, answered Emily. Come aboard then, he said, and Emily did. She walked up the rickety plank and right into Captain Baru. My name is Emily, Emily said in her Emily voice. How can I help? Can you call an order from the forecastle? Forecastle? You guys can read that for me if you want. F-O''C''SLE. To quarterdeck, above a gale force wind, peeped Captain Baru. Aye, aye, Captain, she said. And before the captain could say mizzenmast, Emily called, all hands on deck, and every ship's crew came running. Look at them all come. That's probably the one crew they needed. And all these other ones are rushing in because she's so loud. She yelled his hat off. Welcome aboard, Emily, cheered Captain Baru. Emily waved to the cook as the ship left the harbor. Tell my parents I'm all boarded, she said. Tell them all right. Her voice made waves in the sea. She was supposed to just go to the fish market with this poor lady. And look at her fish jump out of her basket and back into the sea. Even the little statue up there is covering her ears. Because Emily's yelling again. Loud Emily's yelling again. Captain Baru's crew was kind and luckless, but how they loved Emily's voice. She sang halyard chanties while hoisting the sails. She called bosun's commands while standing the watch. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce all these words. I'm not especially good at them. She told stories to the crew while swabbing the deck. From her tiny bunk at night, she crooned forecastle. I'm going with forecastle. I don't know what else to say. She crooned forecastle ballads that made the men cry. And deep out in the ocean, the whales listened too. They danced to her wild tunes. They sang with her free songs. They spouted and blew their delight in the air. there she is singing and singing and singing and singing. One day, a storm lifted waves into walls of water and shivered the timbers of the very old ship. Captain Beru whispered commands into Emily's ear. Emily shouted, "Avast! Luff her up before we're stove!" The men scrambled into the riggings as the ship pitched and plunged and dove into the raging sea. She cried, "Furl the main and stop it down!" The wind screamed its fury as Captain Beru and his raggedy crew rolled up the sails. All day and all night they fought the wild and thundering waves. They kept the ship safe until the storm finally moved on. At last, the captain sighed. But when morning came, fog rolled in like a blanket of blubber. "Can't see a thing," complained Captain Beru. "Neither can we," moaned his poor, tired crew, and they fell fast asleep on the deck. Emily peered over the railing. There's all that fog, and poor Captain Beru sitting there. What's he gonna do? Rocks! The ship was racing towards a rough, jagged shore. Where was the lighthouse? Had the fierce storm destroyed it? "Ahoy!" Emily called in her Emily voice. "Ahoy! Ahoy!" But nothing would wake the snoring crew. She pulled at the tiller, but the ship wouldn't turn. What could she do? And then she remembered the whales. Emily rushed to the bowsprit, and shimmied along. Into the waves she cast her voice until a ribbon of bubbles carried her words into the briny deep. "Danger, please help! Danger, please help!" She sang and song for the whales, and as Emily sang, the whales gathered round. They hastened from Baja. They raced down from Iceland. They speeded their way from the tip of Cape Horn. Then, as if the ship were one of their own, they nuzzled her and cradled her and eased her away from the treacherous coast. Look at all the whales. They're taking the ship away. There's little Emily, sitting right at the edge. That's what the bowsprit is. I figured it out. Emily sighed, safe. But the other ships were from the seaside town. They faced danger too. So she called once again to her friends of the sea. Between rolling waves and hazardous rocks, the whales formed a long bridge. The whales formed a wide bridge, and Emily ran from her ship to the shore. Up the winding lighthouse stairs, she scrambled and took her deepest, deepest breath. "Danger! Rocks here!" she called. "Rocks here! Danger!" Over and over, she sang her tune-up warning. Across the long whale bridge, "Danger! Rocks here! Rocks here! Danger!" Emily's voice rang out loud and true. Her call pierced the thick fog. Her voice tamed the fierce whales, and the captains and crews turned their ships back to sea. Soon the sun shone in the wide sky. Over the horizon were ships and ships and ships, far from the thundering rocks and storms. Along the shore stood all the folks of the city. Along the shore stood all the folks of the city, shouting, "Hurrah!" for the little girl with the very big voice. The happiest shouts of all came from her own proud parents. Now, Emily lives with her parents and the kitchen's round cook in a home near the lighthouse on top of the rocks. On sunny days, Emily does what little girls do, but on foggy days and on stormy nights and on very windy days, Emily cautions all ships in her loudest Emily voice and keeps them safe from harm, and nobody there in that house by the sea ever complains of the noise. And there's Happy Emily and her happy cat, and there's the cook, and there's her father, her mother, and I believe that's Captain Baru. And look at that, her mom embroidered a little whale. I like that book. Alright, next I wanted to show you another book that I got, not when I was a little kid, but actually very recently, and that's Please Mr. Panda. I may or may not have bought this for myself on my birthday because I loved it. Here we go. Let's see. My hair's falling on my face a little. Hope you don't mind. Alright. This is Mr. Panda. It's a very short story. He says, "Would you like a donut?" This is little penguin friend. "Give me the pink one." "No, you cannot have a donut. I've changed my mind." And he walks away. Then he asks again, this time to his skunk friend, "Would you like a donut?" "I want the blue one and the yellow one." "No, you cannot have a donut. I have changed my mind." Look at the little surprised skunk. And he walks away. "Would you like a donut?" he asks to the ostrich, who says, "No, go away." "Would you like a donut?" he says to the whale, the orca. "I want them all. Then bring me some more." "No, you cannot have a donut. I have changed my mind." And he rows away. And look, the poor guy's crying. And it looks like his little white spot is a little furrowed, sad eyebrow, because he's not getting any donuts. Would anyone else like a donut? And I didn't turn the book upside down. There's a lemur here, hanging down from the roof. "Hello, may I have a donut?" "Please, Mr. Panda?" "You can have them all. Thank you very much. I love donuts." And there he is, with the little donut hat and all the donuts. And the panda says, "You're welcome. I do not like donuts." And that story is by Steve Antony, and I love it dearly. I read it in the bookstore and cried laughing, and then had to explain it to my parents when I was throwing kids' books in the shopping cart that were actually sort of expensive. Does this have a price on it? I think it was like $8, maybe $12. I feel like it was a multiple of 4. I'm not sure why I think that. But yeah. I did in fact buy that for myself. Because I cried laughing the first time I read that. And it took a lot of self-control not to start crying laughing again, to be totally honest. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. And I know I couldn't have made it as funny as I was finding it, because I had to hold it up and read it and such, and I'm not sure how much you could see the visuals, But just this one, every time kills me, and I don't know why. Just this one page cracks me up, and I love it. My humor is apparently really weird, but it's the pinnacle of life. Alright, now I'm gonna head off because it is currently 8:30 in the morning and I haven't slept because I wanted to get this done for you guys. But I love you guys so much, and I hope you're having a very good night, or more preferably that you're asleep or at peace or focused or whatever you're listening to this for. So if you're one of the people hearing this right now, I'm a little sorry you made it to the end, because the end is where I usually start to get sillier. But if you like that, then that's good. So yeah, I love you lots, and I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or night.